We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there.
Hello, children of the night. Welcome back to Blood and Guts HHN. And we got the big announcements. With me as always, Mad Matt. How's it going, Matt?
Well, it's been a fantastic week at Evil Adam because, as you know, Universal HHN has blessed us with a plethora of updates.
Yep.
And we all know what a plethora means.
A what? A plethora. Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
Yep.
And so we've got all of our originals in now. And this is going to be a fantastic lineup from what we're seeing. Is that how you see it as well?
I think it's great. I know that they did this same kind of announcement drop last year. Mm-hmm. And some people are saying they don't like it so much. I like it. I like the week-long drip of... I prefer the week-long drip of announcements over the dump.
Yes.
Of just, here's all the originals in one day or 2 days, kind of thing. Because it actually gives you time to build some hype and think about the art, think about what it says, think about the description. Mm-hmm. So that's what we got this week. And starting with Spooky Empire.
Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't say that better myself than what you just explained, because I'm like you, I hate the dump. And the reason why I hate the dump is I don't think it gives the respect that these original houses deserve. Yeah. And you and I, and a lot of the diehard HHNs, the IPs are great, but the bread and butter are these original houses.
These originals are what you're going to be talking about for years to come.
You got your Dead Man's Pier, your Bugs Eaten Alive, like
Blood Moon,
Goblins, Blood Moon,
Graveyard, all that stuff.
And so this year, this whole list of originals that we've gotten, every one of them sound like they could have been the best house of previous years. So now this year, they're all going to have to fight for it.
They're going to have to fight for it, because we talked through the week, as you know, and we could not decide which one was our favorite. Right. Every day they announced one, we were like, this sounds like it might be the top dog. Yeah. And then the next day, this one sounds like it might be the top dog. So let's go ahead and break it down with the first announcement that we got at Spooky Empire, which was the panel in Orlando. What was it, last weekend?
Yes.
Was El Artista, a Spanish haunting. Yep. So this is going to be crazy.
Yeah, and the description of it, for Friends Fans, says, in 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves into an isolated country manor for inspiration, but the art then comes alive and possesses him. Yeah,
yep. And as the deciding factor on this one is, this house, as we learned at Spooky Empire, is designed by the master Dylan Koloth, badass house designer.
Yeah. What's some of his greatest hits?
Let's talk about Blood Moon, Insidious. Let's talk about Dead Man's Pier, which is probably competing heavy with Blood Moon there.
Not Bugs, but Goblins.
Goblins Feast from last year, and Insidious. And this, from rumors from what we've heard, the people that have seen parts of this house are describing it as beautiful, gorgeous. They're using words like that, which means it's on the right path.
Yeah.
So
all you had to say was Koloff for me, then immediately
jumps up to the top of the list. It's I can't even imagine. Words can't even describe what we're going to witness.
Oh, exactly. Because just once they had me, I mean, even before Koloff, just hearing that it's going to be in a mansion, there's going to be the stained glass windows. It's about an artist who's getting possessed. That's the kind of stuff I love and gets me hyped for a house. It feels like this type of horror has been neglected the past few years, because we always talk about how we want to see them do more Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah. And tortured souls, things like that. So I think this is going to have that, and so I'm so excited for this house.
And to speak just a little bit more on this, you have to think about a house that it's not a slasher. It's not a creature house. It's not a monster house.
Right.
These are ghosts and poltergeists. So you got to think back to houses like Dead End, houses like the Wyandotte Estate, which was one of the first legendary Truth Bore Schuster houses.
Right.
Where there are no characters who are human victims.
Right.
It's you and it's the spirits, the angry, evil spirits that are coming to take your soul.
Right.
And that is great. That's it. So that's what this is coming, turning out to be.
Yeah.
So that means that this house is just going to be a straight up onslaught of spirits.
You know what that means?
Shut up and take my money.
Take my money. Take my money.
So, the next house we had was dropped on Monday, and if you have fresh in your memory Slaughter Cinema 2, then fans, you're going to love this house. We got Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters, and it says, in the Old West town, all hell is breaking loose. Red hot lava demons are trying to possess everyone, melting everything in their path.
Yep, and we got a little touch of this in Slaughter Cinema 2, like you said, and now we're going to get a full-scale Old West house. Now they're going to do a town. I'm assuming there's going to be a jail. There's going to be a saloon.
Right.
There's going to be a brothel. There's going to be some wagons.
Yeah.
Maybe some cannons sitting around.
See, this immediately brings me back to like Ghost Town, then Ghost Town 2, Dead Man's Gulch, and all that stuff. And like I said, I was at the original Ghost Town back to the first event I ever went to, so that holds a special place in my heart.
Yep.
So I'm so excited. That's why we were talking earlier how it's going to be so hard to rank these because every one of them is just flipping awesome in their own way.
Yep.
And so, like I said, this one calls me back to Ghost Town, and I'm so excited because I love it. They never go wrong when they do that Old West setting. And I know a lot of people dog the movie, but I don't care because I love it. But I always think about House 2, the second story, when it goes to the very end and he's there with Slim Reezer in that old ghost town. And they have the horse that's like all skeletal remains and flesh ridden and stuff.
Yeah.
Some great stop motion. So that's the kind of stuff I want to see with this. And I like you. I know in Slaughter Cinema 2, you just have a little taste of it.
Like a half a room. It's like a room and a half is what you had for Slaughter Cinema 2.
So to see them expand upon it, I'm thankful for. I know there was some fans I've read in the comments that kind of wish they would have done like some of the other houses in there. I'm trying to think of the names of it, like a Chum and things like
Blood and Chum, Killer Kringles.
I've heard that one.
Mardi Gras Murders, all the. This is going to be great, though. I think you're really going to get not only are you going to get the sights, you're going to get the sounds, you're going to get the smells, just like you do with every house.
Yeah.
But this one's going to hit you hard. And you remember what was one of the first smells in the section of Slaughter 2? Roses.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about when I seen that.
Yep.
So transitioning then to the next house, we got they took a day off on Tuesday, and then they hit us again on Wednesday with Dolls, Let's Play Dead.
Yep.
And you're about to become doll size and be hunted by toys that have been burnt, melted, and stitched together by a twisted girl. So immediately my head goes to Toy Story on crack.
Sid, Sid the character, but instead of it's a girl, and I really want them to play up this idea of you're shrunken down.
Yeah,
I really want like the table, like let's say the table for example. I want the table to be huge. I want the lamp to be huge.
Yeah,
I want you to feel like you are.
You want it to be like MGM Studios back when we were kids and had that Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Exactly. You know where I'm going. Honey I Shrunk the Kids. But with twisted toys, and I want to even see like Goblin's Feast last year with the giant troll hands. I want to see some of those little girl hands and that giant face projection on the ceiling of that girl reaching in to mess with you.
See, what I love about that is our cameraman that's off camera. He's talked about that earlier and said the exact same thing. He wants the giant hands, especially the one he mentioned, Goblin's Feast, King Kong's hand they had in there.
Exactly. Yep.
Just repurpose that.
That's what I'm saying. Let's do it right. And if they can pull this off, I'm very curious to see how it's going to.
I know, obviously, when we think of dolls, dolls are not something that scares me, but I do love the premise. But HHN has a history of doing great doll houses.
Yeah, Dollhouse of the Damned.
Yes, that's the one everybody keeps hearkening back to.
And from what I've heard, now we didn't get to experience that one ourselves, fans, but the smells, the sights and sounds in that house were really over the top.
Yeah.
So this will be pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited. Then on Thursday we got Grave of Flesh, and the description is: welcome to your funeral, where things go from bad to worse. You'll enter the grave and then to the underworld, where flesh eaters who feed on the dead will hunt you for eternity.
That's right.
Sold.
I'm already sold. But now let's think about this. take a look at that key art. We're going to put the key art up right here. Think about this key art and look at this. And it looks like the mouth brooders from that underwater house from, I think it was 18 or 19. I can't remember. And then think about the movie Chud.
Yeah.
And think about the movie Humanoids from the Deep.
Yeah.
And then you texted me the same day. We were texting back and forth. And the first thing that popped into our head was Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Do you want a party? And so this is going to be your B horror movie house for the year, we're hoping.
Yeah.
So we want to see some like over the top. This is going to be your Bugs Eaten Alive. This is going to be your B horror. So it's not going to take itself completely seriously, but it's going to be crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go down through the grave. You know, you're going to see some graves. Hopefully it's like Deadly Unrest, the scares on from a couple of years ago. And then you're going to go in there. There's going to be flesh. There's going to be bodies. And like I was telling you,
smells.
I want to see rotten smells. I want to see the bodies. I want to see like freshly planted corpses that get worse and worse as you go. And these monsters coming out to tear you apart.
Yeah, I can't add much more than what you just said. I know, like you mentioned, Graveyard Deadly Unrest, and I keep talking back like we talked about dolls previously, but Universal they have a great history in doing these graveyard houses.
Oh yeah,
and so I'm looking forward, because honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know if I've been a year where they've had the good graveyard houses. It always seems like that's what I miss. This there. So I'm super excited for this one, and like you said, I do think it's going to have that B movie feel where there's going to be some parts that will scare the crap out of you, but then there's probably going to be some stuff in there where you're going to kind of chuckle and laugh too.
Yeah, over the top. Even the font has that kind of like movie of the week, Saturday night horror movie kind of thing, and I really like that. So I think that's how they're going to roll. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
So,
and then earlier today on Friday, we had the house announcement. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Galkin?
I think so.
Galkin Monsters of the North. And its description is: in a remote northern village, a wicked being rises from the dead, bringing a horde of monsters and demons from the fjords to wreak havoc on the townspeople. You'll face icy horned, winged, and wolfish fiends that gradually merge into one giant horror. Then you'll have to escape the belly of the beast.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh yeah,
it's got Scandinavian written all over it. So think of Dead Man's Pier, cold, icy.
Love that.
But
cold
you're
house.
thinking of, and it doesn't say if it's in Norway. Is it in Sweden? Is it in Denmark? Is it in Iceland, Greenland? You don't know. But I think it's going to have that Scandinavian mark on it.
Yeah.
And I think even the font, if we put the key art up here, I think the font will show you that too. Because that's one thing I will say about this year. The key art last year, I hated it. I hated it. When they had the triplets of terror and it looked like
a paper mask,
paper plate mask and all that crap. It looked like somebody that just learned Photoshop had done it. This looks like somebody who's a badass artist that they're like, hey, we want you to actually. So it's almost like they heard us last year.
Well, like kind of piggyback off what you're saying, each one of these key arts looks like you could put that on a one sheet poster, and I'm paying my money on a Friday night to go to the movies.
You know
to watch
how they're going to do. You know how every year they do the house shirt.
Yeah,
that has all the originals on it. Last year, because the key art was kind of garbage, I'm not buying that. But this year, imagine a shirt with all these on it.
Yeah,
all that key art. All that art that you can do.
Now, I agree with you about the ones last year when they announced the houses, but I did actually like that punk shirt where it had all of them. I've seen better. I've seen a lot better. And I know the artist that normally would do it left Universal, and they had a new artist, so maybe they're just kind of feeling their way through. I can't remember that artist's name, but I know they had a change of the guard, and that's why you kind of seen a different feel to it last year. Well, and like I said, hopefully they're coming into their own and feel more comfortable, and like I said, maybe take some more chances. Kind of like what we're seeing, because I do love the vibe we're getting with the vines, stained glass windows.
They said we're getting a new tribute store this year,
and
it's actually going to have a theme and a facade kind of thing at Spooky Empire. Which
so not a container.
It's not going to be a shipping container, a budget cut, if you will, from last year. It's actually going to be a tribute store, and they're actually focusing on that. So, but the thing is, they didn't give any details about it. They just said, hey, we're working on this. So, it's probably going to be something crazy.
Yeah, and so I'm excited about that. And like you said, past few years we've been mentioning budget cuts and worried about budget cuts. I don't feel that this year, because they're actually showing, if you're watching all the update videos and things too, you see they're adding way more lights than we're normally used to seeing on tops of the building. So I think they're going for complete immersion in every spot of the park this year. And if they do that, I mean, man, all bets are off. It's gonna be a fun year.
I think it's gonna be a good year, because I think that so Michael Aiello and his team are running things again. I know that they stepped away because they were working heavy with Epic.
Yeah.
So that last year even they didn't really have their hand in the pot.
Right.
So there's not a lot that they could do last year, but this year they're back. They're rolling up their sleeves.
Yeah.
And they're like going to make this year crazy. So
I'll tell you the one thing that's crazy for this year right now. So far, our friends at like Hallowed Out Horror and HNN Nightmares,
yep.
they're batting 100 on every house so far this year. Every one of them they nailed right. So the only thing we got left is 3 IPs, and the ones everybody's been speculating all year is Terrifier, Five Nights at Freddy's,
and WWE,
and the WWE house, which everybody's thinking is going to be the Bray Wyatt family.
Yep.
So with those 3 being left, what do you think our next announcement will be?
That's a hard one. It depends on what's going to draw in. You know, you want to kind of draw in the crowd. You want to get the eyes on the prize. So maybe Terrifier.
That's me. I think it's going to be. I think
Five Nights is the. I think Five Nights is the heavy.
I agree. I think that one's the heavy. I think WWE is going to be in the middle.
Yeah,
I think you'll either get Terrifier or Five Nights, and then WWE, and then Terrifier or Five Nights. Like one or the other.
That's the way.
And because I just don't think they'll end it with WWE. I could be wrong. I just don't see that being your last house.
Yeah, no. You want your last house to be a marquee.
Yes.
But these originals are so good, and I'm so excited for these originals. I mean, think about the year where they did Hell Block, and that kind of stuff. And there were a few duds that year, and it's not anybody's fault in particular, but
that's why I hope we don't get, because like you said, I know at Spooky Empire they talked about Terrifier all but confirming that it's going to be a house, but they mentioned like things falling through.
It could fall through. That's what they said. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping,
of course everything could. But, but the one thing that will stay solid, Children of the Night, is the originals will stay solid and will be badass and scare the hell out of you. So
last few updates, then let's switch over to Hollywood now, where they announced a house today as well, and we got Monstruos 3, The Ghost of Latin America, and its description says 1 wails, 1 bites, 1 beguiles, La Llorona, La Muelona, and La Cigüeña await in the dark. 3 legends La Muerte wants you to meet, but you'll wish you never did.
Okay.
So obviously that's not going to be coming to Orlando,
right?
But for me, it's almost like we're beating a dead horse now because you're having it 3 years in a row. Now, granted, I love Monstruos last year,
4 years,
but I'm always the type, I like to let something marinate a little bit before I get the sequels.
Yeah, but Hollywood's always been like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Hollywood, and they're bringing back Poltergeist, and they're doing all that. So, I mean, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to get out there eventually, fans, and check that out, but for now we can't, of course,
right?
Because we put all our money into
Orlando. And I know the new rumors, which I hadn't dug a lot into it to see what it is, but I know the new rumors is that Killer Clowns may be coming. Don't know if it's just like a Easter egg for next year or that will be this year, but I know a lot of people are starting to chatter about it. But if Hollywood, if you get Killer Clowns, I'll be so jealous of you, because I would love to have that back at Orlando again.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So that about wraps up everything that we have this week. So, I mean, only thing we're waiting on now is the
3 IPs.
The 3 IPs, the Rush of Fear passes to come out. Other than that, make sure you have your tickets booked. HHN Hollywood should be getting more announcements fast and furious as well, because they've only got a few. I know they got the same IPs so far that we've gotten, but as far as originals go, Monstruos is the first one that they've confirmed. And
as far as Orlando goes as well, you're going to get things that even aren't announcements. Like, you're going to get the theming of the coconut. What's that going to be?
Yeah.
You're going to get the
scare zones. We'll probably do again.
Scare zones. You're going to get the hotels. Each hotel that's a Universal property, sister hotel, is going to probably have their little homage to Horror Nights as well. So you're going to get these little drips throughout the rest of the season, and I think that's going to build up and lead us to a great opening season of HHN. And I know that you guys are going to go down, try to go opening weekend.
Yeah.
So. And we'll have a little report on that.
There'll be do or do not. There is no try, brother.
There is no try. Well, there you go then.
But hey, friends and fiends, leave in the comments. Let us know what you think about these original house announcements. Do you love them? Do you not? Mm-hmm. Why not? Or why do you? Also, make sure that you like this video, share it to your friends, and hit that subscribe button.
That's right. And as always, remember to stay spooky.
What's going on, y'all? This is Chad from Vulgar Dragon's Den. We are here at Smoky Mountain Terror. You guys need to like and subscribe. Blood and Guts HHN. They're cool folks. It's a great channel. Come check us out.